Hold on. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Hi, hello. My name is Sharice Johnson Moore, and I am here. Hello, and welcome to Entrepreneurial Corners. And my name is Sharice Johnson Moore, and I am the host of Entrepreneurial Corners Live. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Miss Terry Ann Williams Richard. And me and Miss Richard have been friends for a while, and she is a great motivator. She's a storyteller. She is a voiceover artist, and she does so many marvelous things in her career. She is, she says, yes, you can succeed in learning in life. You must choose, use, sharpen, and share the right learning tools and life strategies. This quote is all at the core of Miss Terry Ann Williams Richards' mission to make a difference in the lives of the children and adults she has the pleasure of serving. She believes that much too often we sell ourselves short, lacking the confidence and direction to stand in the greatness God has designed and destined for each of us individually. Terry is a 3-time 5-star Amazon rated author. All right, you go, girl. Book writing coach, veteran teacher, education consultant, trainer, and founder of Personalized Educational Services, LLC. Terry's latest book is her fourth one and it's entitled Just Call Me Scholar. It is a children's picture book written to encourage our children to shine. This book is dedicated to her daughter, granddaughter, and her nephew and his daughter. Just Call Me Scholar was also a finalist in the children's book category of the International Book Award in 2020. She is also the author of Daily Meditations for Success in the Classroom and Beyond. 40 days of rhymes, reflections, and resources to inspire and motivate students. Terry is a voiceover artist and host of Tenacity Talks podcast, a conversation about living your dreams and encouraging others to do the same. With the role of narrator, Terry is proud to be in Erica Dawn Voice's live audio rendition of Frosty the Snowman as the voice of the mother and grandmother in Erica Dawn Voice's audio bedtime story, Swipe Right. Terry is having fun. She has voice promos for small businesses and fundraising projects. As an author, educator, book writing coach, and podcast host, Terry has used her voice to encourage and inspire, and now looks forward to seeing where her voice acting adventure leads. She brings over 30 years of experience combining the fields of education, communication, and church and community service. Terry has served children, adults, families, organizations, and businesses in Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, Georgia, and North Carolina. She is a native of Cincinnati, Ohio. She received her grade school education at South Avondale Elementary and Walnut Hills High School, both in Cincinnati. She is also the proud graduate of Wilberforce University, a historically black college university, HBCU, in Wilberforce, Ohio. Terry completed graduate work for teacher certification at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. She is also the recipient of the Beyond the Classroom Community Service Award. in 2023 by Gamma Phi Delta Sorority Incorporated. Whether it is a vision board party event facilitator, book club organizer, writing coach, just call me scholar, presentation, the Success Club, Young Scholars and Leaders Personal Library Club, workshop presenter, moderating adult authors panels, serving as a tutor, volunteering in the community, and more. Miss Terry is committed to encouraging and equipping both children and adults for success. She led a partnership project collecting and giving away books to promote reading literacy, cultural pride, and community. It will involve kids, books, and building young scholars' confidence and skills. It is Terry's hope that her books, projects, programs, services, and efforts will inspire others to say yes to their personalized passions and purpose and their next best step to dream bigger. Yes, Terry spreads the message of keep living your dreams and encouraging others to do the same while having fun in the process. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to Miss Terry. Hello, Miss Terry. How are you doing today?
I am doing good, 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 good. Thank you,
Oh, you're
Cherie,
welcome.
for inviting me to your show.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Miss Terry, let's go back. Let's go back in history and tell me how long have you been a teacher? I know that's how I met you. We was in a club. We in a clubhouse room, and that's how I met Miss Terry. And I wanted her to give us a little background about becoming a teacher.
Okay. So, do you want the What's Up on a Time long ago version? Whenever I have to answer that question, I think about the Fresh Prince. I wasn't born and raised in West Philadelphia,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
Cincinnati, Ohio is where I spent most of my days chilling and relaxing.
Right?
But
Yeah.
anyway, I started when I was a kid. I used to love to play teacher. You hear me? I was
Mhm.
serious about it.
Mhm.
I'm the
Mhm.
oldest of five, and my younger brothers, they weren't born yet when
Mhm.
I was 14 when they were born. But before I was even 14, I was playing teacher with my other sister. I have one sister and three brothers.
Mhm.
And so, and then I have so many cousins. And I
Mhm.
used to play teacher with them.
Mhm.
And I was so serious. I would have my lessons made up. And then my dad was a custodian
Uh-huh.
for the Board of Education. So
Mhm.
he had worked at different schools. And you know how at the end of the school year, you can bring home broken furniture or whatever.
Mhm.
So I had a desk. I was serious. I was serious. So yeah, that's how long I've
Mhm.
been teaching
Yeah.
since I was a kid, play
Okay.
teaching. And my cousins, they
Mhm.
can remember it to this day.
Okay. All right. Um. So, what what guided you in the path of becoming an author?
Well, when it was time for me to go to college
Mhm.
and I was trying to decide what I wanted to major in,
Mhm.
I, of course, thought about teaching.
Mhm.
But even in my young teenage mind, I was like, I don't think teachers make enough money.
Mhm.
Even before that, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist,
Mhm.
a psychiatrist, but then I started saying, no, if I listen to everybody's problems, I might go crazy. That's not.
Mhm.
And then, but I loved to write. And I remember writing a lot of poetry when I was a teenager.
Mhm.
I know that I'm a little older than you, but This magazine probably was still out when you were growing up too. I don't know. Do you remember Right On magazine?
Yes, I used to get it up faithfully.
Right. So
Yeah.
me too. And so I had all these pictures up on my wall of all
Mm-hmm.
the stars from back in the day.
Yeah.
And I love to write poetry.
Uh-huh.
So when I was trying to decide what to do about school, I decided to major in mass media communication. So
Okay.
that's what I majored in. And so I always knew that I would write a book, or, I've had the opportunity to work as a magazine editor and associate editor for the Department of the Army when I first graduated from college.
Mm-hmm.
And in my school, my wonderful HBCU, Wilberforce University, we were required to do co-ops.
Yes.
So I did all my co-ops for the Corps of Engineers in Detroit, Michigan, in public affairs. And that's when I got a chance to be a staff writer on an employee publication.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I don't want to go on and on and on, but yeah, that's how it all came together because of the love for writing as a young teenager. And then, pursuing a career and actually working in a career.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, um,
Did I
the
answer your question?
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we gonna get into this to the business aspect of what your business is about. And I wanted to say that you got so many hats. I don't know which one. I know it got to be confusing sometimes, or which one you gonna wear today, right? Which one you gonna
Hey,
wear
when
today?
you're a mom, which you know about that, when you're a mom, or if you're just a woman, period, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a lot of different hats. That's
Yes.
just that
Yeah.
comes with the territory.
I know,
But
right?
yeah, the name of so you were asking about my business. The name of my
Yeah.
business is Personalized Educational Services.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do private tutoring, training, and I have taught a variety of workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a book writing coach.
Okay.
And so yeah, so my main and education consultant. So my main goal with personalized educational services is to equip, empower, and
Mm-hmm.
enlighten children and adults to succeed in learning and in life.
Oh, okay.
And maybe about 3 or 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I added the podcast to
Mm-hmm.
what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Even in that, my purpose of the podcast, Tenacity Talks, is to encourage people to live their dreams and encourage others to do the same. So it's all comes under the category of encouraging and motivating people, whether it's in a classroom
Mm-hmm.
with middle schoolers
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's in a classroom with GED prep
Mm-hmm.
for adults at a technical college, or whether it's been at a community college, and these are all places I've worked, whether it's been at a community college,
Mm-hmm.
in a tutoring lab, or developing programs while I was there to
Mm-hmm.
help students bring their A game in their
Mm-hmm.
studies, or whether it's in the authors panels I would give in persons, or the workshops I would give in person before the pandemic. And then once the pandemic happened,
Mm-hmm.
doing all sorts of things online for 30 day writing challenges,
Mm-hmm.
7 day educational success and learning challenges for adults. Because pre-pandemic, I also would do workshops for parents, giving them tips on how to help their kids be more successful in school. So yeah, bringing this all together,
Mm-hmm.
helping people learn.
Mm-hmm.
I've even, since the pandemic, have even developed little one-on-one sessions if people want me to show them how to set up a podcast or how to use Canva
Yeah.
or all the different things that I'm able to do.
Yeah. So you're roundabout. I'll say it. When we learn all these skills as an entrepreneur, it's hard to keep it to ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, same thing as a teacher. I
Yeah.
usually teach language arts, so that's great. I'm always teaching my students writing and reading. On the first day of school, they have to stand up and speak in front of the class because that's an important skill. So they do that throughout the school year.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, when you have um my question for you is, how do you deal with a student? How do you deal with a student when you find out a student cannot read or write? Has that ever happened to you, Miss Terry?
Oh, absolutely. It happens. It happens all the time because one of my certifications is special education learning disabilities K
Mm-hmm.
through 12, and also language arts 7 through 12,
Mm-hmm.
journalism, and speech communication, speech or public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, as a special educator, or the state I'm in now, they call it EC, exceptional children. I encounter students all the time that do not read at grade level,
Okay.
and they may not even be in the special education program.
Oh, okay.
I've even, also when parents come to me wanting tutoring service for their children, I meet children that are different grade levels,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
a lot of children are below grade level
Mm-hmm.
in when it comes to reading and writing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. So let's get into this tenacity talks. What brought you? What? How did that come about that you wanted to start Tenacity Talks podcast?
Well, like I said, majoring in mass media communications in college,
Uh,
I know one of the projects we had to do was a radio show. I remember that.
mm,
Um, and in case you haven't noticed, I like to talk. And so through the years, I had thought about doing um, having a radio show.
mm-hmm.
That sounds so weird, even though there's still radio, even with the different platforms we have.
Yeah.
But thought about having a radio show. And maybe about 10 years ago, I'll say, I started thinking more seriously about it and looking at different platforms on, like local radios
Mm-hmm.
or smaller radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
But they were charging more than I wanted to spend.
Okay.
And so I was
Yeah.
like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then at one point, there started being something like internet radio. But
Yes.
somehow that still didn't fit
Mm-hmm.
what, that still didn't seem like it was going to work for me.
Okay.
And so then I started hearing about podcasts. Well, podcasts came out long before I started doing it 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing my research, reading about how to do a podcast and
Mm-hmm.
how to do a podcast, what platforms to use, all kinds of stuff. I was reading all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was like, I'm going to start with what I have,
Yes.
because when I was learning about the RSS feed and,
Mm-hmm.
you had to be on a certain platform. And at that time, you had to pay to do all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so to store your, episodes. So I
Yes.
was like, I'm gonna start with what I already have. And I had a website. So I started out, I did my first 6 episodes and they were only on my website.
Okay.
And that was probably like in like November,
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
beginning in November of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed so far away. And I started interviewing friends
Yes.
that I already knew. And I
Mm-hmm.
still do that,
Yeah.
interview friends that I already know, but it has expanded that when I meet people, I just ask them, especially
Yes.
most of the people I interview are authors, or they have their own business,
Mhm.
or they have an interesting career. There's some people that are like, well, my story isn't, it's not about what your story is.
Yeah.
It's about that you are important. You do have a dream. You do
Mhm.
have a purpose. And God does have a plan for you.
Yeah.
And you have interacted and lived this life being able to encourage people. And so we want to share that message. And
Yeah.
you know about it because you've been a guest
Yes.
this
Yes.
week.
I've been on her podcast, and that's the talks, and it is something. It's real comfortable. I feel real comfortable. You make your guests feel comfortable talking and coming and telling their stories, and it's how can I say this? Sometimes you go on people podcasts, and it's like they in attack mode with you during the interview, but it's not like that with Miss Terry. So I just want to make sure everybody get an understanding. So she asked you to do tenacity talks. Do not turn her down because it is a nice, comfortable environment, and the conversation is very flowing and it's smooth. It's laid back like jazz. Yeah. So, um,
Mhm. Thank you.
you're welcome, honey. I'm gonna give you. I love uplifting other women. I love uplifting other women that I have met that are doing, you know, that are doing things in their life that they're not scared to do. That they're not sitting like, okay, I gotta twiddle my thumbs on what you want me to do today, and that, you know, they are set in their minds. They are productive in their activities, and they ain't listening to no haters, no naysayers, or nothing like that. They're just doing, they're doing the thing, the gift that they're sharing their gifts and talents that God gave them.
Hmm.
And and I see that you do a marvelous job. Miss Terry moderates a room on Clubhouse with the Daily Inspiration for Authors Room. Is Resilient Black Women Daily Inspiration for Authors Room, and Miss Terry does the room. Matter of fact, she did the room today. You did the room this morning. So
Right.
she,
We're
she
always doing this at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it seems like it was another day.
right, like, yeah, like, wait a minute. And then you stop, and then you gotta think, oh, what time is it? Oh, okay, I still got a whole day ahead of me. And that's how our flow, ebb and flow goes in when Miss Terry does the moderating on Sundays. It's comfortable. We lay back like jazz, like two, they say rolling down the street, in a Cadillac, we just, in a pink Cadillac, so it's
Yeah,
real
oh, that's
nice.
cool. Girl, that's cool. I'm like visualizing it.
Yeah, right.
Feel like, oh, I gotta write about that. Cool like jazz.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes,
Tenacity
yes.
talks cool like jazz.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And the thing is that Miss Terry's latest book is a children's book. She loves writing children's books. She's always writing something. She's always writing something. All the time. Just busy bee, busy bee, busy bee writing something. And uh the thing about it is, let's see, let me see. Hold on. Trying to It's just the title of her latest book is Just Call Me Scholar. Just Call Me Scholar, and it is a children's book. And you want to give us more in depth about this book, Miss Terry?
Yeah, I have it right here, sitting up here. I don't know if you can see it. Just call me scholar. Oh, I love this book, and I
Mm-hmm.
love writing it. And so, Just Call Me Scholar is the illustrated inspirational poem.
Mm-hmm.
and it's celebrating our girls and boys and encouraging them to shine. It has bright, bold illustrations. I have the best illustrator ever,
Okay.
Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He is amazing. And this book has positive, it's a positive rhyme, and it's great for family read aloud to celebrate scholars everywhere. And speaking of celebrating scholars, as Sharice read in the intro, this book is dedicated to my nephew, my daughter, and their two little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so this picture, I mean, this right here, I gave the illustrator, I gave Lee a picture of my nephew and my daughter when they were like 3 or 4 years old because
Uh-huh.
they are, uh, I don't know if you can see this, it's in the dedication section.
Okay. All right.
So
Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
I gave Lee this picture and I said, I would like the characters of my book
Mm-hmm.
to, be based on that picture. And so that's where we got it from. They were 3 or 4.
Uh-huh.
At the time of the picture, they are
Mm-hmm.
now both 32. They both turned 32
Okay.
in June
Mm-hmm.
this year. And my nephew is my sister's son. I mentioned I only have one sister. Her
Mm-hmm.
name is Judy. And my daughter's name is Tamara. Her little girl, my granddaughter, is Peyton. My
Mm-hmm.
nephew is Stephen, and his little girl is Amora. And so Stephen and Tamara were born 2 days apart in the same month and the
Mm-hmm.
same year. So my mama and
So
daddy,
uh-huh.
they had their
Yeah.
two daughters having their first child
Uh-huh.
around the same time.
Uh-huh.
And we were living in different states. So
Yeah.
after my mom was with my sister, she had to come down with me
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah.
Cincinnati to Georgia. No,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia at the time. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
this book, Just Call Me Scholar, is a poem. And
Yes.
I'll start out by reading a little bit of it.
Okay.
And can you see the picture? I don't know if I'm holding this. Is this
Mm-hmm.
showing up?
Oh, there you go. Uh-huh.
This
That's
way?
pretty. That's
Okay.
cute.
I am articulate, brilliant, courageous, determined, empowered, and free.
Mm-hmm.
Here's it. It's weird trying to hold this picture up. People often wonder what they should call me. Just call me scholar.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my granddaughter's favorite picture
Mm-hmm.
of the mother combing the little girl's
Oh, okay.
hair,
Yeah, that's cute.
the boy soaking his feet.
Like his feet hurt.
Right. I have a unique texture to my hair and a sparkling shine to my skin.
Mm-hmm.
All of us can relate to be sitting on the floor where our mama combs our hair or while we
Mm-hmm.
were combing our daughter's
Yeah,
hair
I
or our
remember
niece's
that.
hair.
I remember that clearly.
And then here's this picture.
Mm-hmm.
I have royal blood and God's greatness flowing within.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring up the different things, about our hair, our skin, and our
Mm-hmm.
royalty.
Yeah.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
want our kids to have confidence.
Yes.
One of the reasons that I wrote this poem, this is really a trip.
Mm-hmm.
This was some years ago. I probably wrote the poem like in 2017 or 20, no, the idea for the poem came in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda. And
Okay.
I'll tell you what I mean by kinda.
Okay.
I used to write a column for a publication in Cincinnati called the African American Shopper's Guide. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
those publications that you may get free in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a column every month. And so one year it was Black History.
Mm-hmm.
And I was writing this poem. I had an idea, but for some reason I couldn't finish it. It just
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't come to me. So I ended up just writing something else. But
Mm-hmm.
then the next year, I was like, I want to finish writing that. And because of some things that were happening, it's like, no, you need to finish this. And this is what
Mm-hmm.
happened,
Yeah.
Sharice. Am I taking too long?
Take your time, honey.
I'm getting into this now. So with the poem,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, this was back in 2018, but there was something, and it still goes through Facebook every now and again, where
Mm-hmm.
there's a picture of a park bench, an empty park bench in the park,
Mm-hmm.
and then it has a question on there like, if you could have a conversation with someone living or in
Yes.
history or dead, who would you want to talk to? And so
Mm-hmm.
I posted that,
Yeah.
and different people responded, and they were saying they would want to talk to, like, maybe their, I remember one friend who has since passed away, God rest his soul. He was saying that he wanted to talk to his grandma because I don't think he got the recipe for her biscuits or something like that, and how his
Yeah.
grandma could cook
Mm-hmm.
when the dial on the stove was broke. She still could cook and it would
Yeah.
taste good. It wouldn't even burn. So
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to have a conversation with his grandma, or people would say something like, a person in history, or like I
Yeah.
said, one of their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to me
Yeah.
that I would want to speak to Harriet Tubman, because Harriet Tubman, she's just amazing,
Yes. Yes.
making sure
I
everything is free.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it started coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
It came to me like I asked her a question, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Harriet,
Yeah.
what should we do? The people, they're calling our kids names. Because this was during the time when there was some clothes designer that was having a kid that looked like was trying to say a kid looked like a monkey, or I don't know what it was,
That's
something about.
Angelina Jolie with the baby she adopted, the little black baby she adopted. It was Angelina Jolie, but she was adopting the African baby. That's what I
Mm,
think that was about. Anyway.
okay, so there it probably was that, but there was
Yeah.
also a designer, a clothes designer
Yeah.
who had, I don't know, but it was something about a monkey, or
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was something crazy about our
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Yeah.
Then there was another part of the United States where a teacher was teaching a story about slavery and was talking about telling this black child that she was going to have the kids lynch him. Just
Oh,
craziness.
I remember that one. I remember they talked about that on that got on the news about they was reenacting the slavery. They was enacting slavery, and they took the one little black boy out the class and put a
Mhm.
noose around his neck, like, and then it didn't end well. It didn't end well with the parents. It didn't end well at school, and yes, that was very that kind of touched my spirit when it how the children kind of interact. They learn about stuff, but they don't, how could I say it, some children may think that's funny because they don't really understand the velocity of that kind of action. And then some kids, their parents really ain't sat down and talked to them about slavery. They just hear about it. And the children now they hear more about past history, but they kind of the total understanding of what their history was about.
Hmm. And
Yes, ma'am.
what's crazy about it is really the adults, because they're the ones that are perpetrating all of this foolishness. And
Yes.
so it became really close to home. It was already close to home because I'm black and hearing all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff about what's happening to kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this happened where I was working.
Yeah.
I heard a teacher refer to the kids as little monkeys. She said, we were in a hall. It was near like the beginning of the day, as kids are getting off the bus. And she
Yeah.
was talking about, oh, let me go pick up my little monkeys. And I was passing by her in the hall and I said, what did
What?
you say?
Uh,
Girl, I was mad.
Woo!
And she kept
That
walking
it's like
fast
a plug.
like she didn't know what
Okay.
I was talking about.
It plucked the string
And
on your nerves.
right. And so, that was a whole crazy mess, with the
Yeah.
school and the principal and
Mm.
uh the whole staff had to go to diversity training or whatever, implicit
Really?
bias training or what. It was crazy.
Really?
And if I
Really?
remember correctly, the person who said this didn't even come to go to the training. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
Girl, yeah, okay.
And even though we being recorded, oh well. But
Yes, we. That's how. This how I do my. This is how I do all my guests. I let them be them because God made each one individually, and
yeah, yeah,
and it's free it's conversation. We're having a conversation like just like we
exactly,
do in the morning. So you good, you good.
exactly. And so
Hmm.
when I was writing, I started writing like, Miss Harriet, what should we do? Our kids are being called, whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
And it's I have a whole story written about it on my blog, so I'll have to get that information to you.
Okay,
How Just Call Me Scholar was born. And then
okay.
it was like the rhyme came to me.
Hmm.
And it was like she was saying, just call me scholar. So that's why this one line is repeated throughout the book.
Hmm.
People always wonder what to call me.
Hmm.
Just call me scholar. So, like, you don't know what to call me, just call me scholar.
I know, right? I know,
Just
right?
call me scholar. And
Hmm.
so I've had a lot of fun with this book. I've done some in person and online read alouds.
Hmm.
And I was even doing read alouds on this before, or presentations before the book was even published.
Hmm.
And I have a online store where you can buy like some t-shirts, a little backpack,
Hmm.
and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But not but and then one day, one of my friends, one of my sorority sisters, shout out to Lauren. Hey Lauren,
Hmm.
was like, Terry, you gotta have you should make up a song
Hmm.
for your book. She
Okay.
said to have it like how it sounds when we're stepping, and I'm in a sorority.
Yeah.
Shout out to my sorors,
Hmm.
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority
Hmm.
Incorporated. Of course, we're part of that Divine Nine. But
Hmm.
anyway, I said, okay.
Hmm.
And I believe she gave me the hook. And so
Okay.
we started out. And then I've had an opportunity to sing this with my granddaughter. And I said
Hmm.
I want to like get in the studio and do something with it. But it's simple like this, like you get ready to step and you say, and you clap and stomp your feet and you say, SCHOLAR. Just call me scholar. Yeah, just call me scholar.
Hmm.
SCHOLAR. Just call me scholar. Yeah, just call me scholar. And scholar, I mean, not scholar. And learning is my superpower. And so there's a part where we say, I am a scholar. I am a scholar. Who are you? Just call me scholar. So it's a combination of that. And I've sung it with my
Yeah.
granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
And she was with me online one time when I did it for a class.
Hmm.
We got to sing it to some third graders. And at
Yeah.
the time, she probably was like in the first grade.
Hmm.
She's went to the fourth grade now.
Hmm.
So it's so much fun to just call me scholar song. And I'm gonna have one quick story about it. One of the classes that I sang that song with
Hmm.
virtually,
Yes.
the teacher also wanted me to do another work with her students some more, like with writing. And I
Yes.
did one-on-one
Hmm.
writing sessions with the kids. They had
Hmm.
wrote a essay about their hero. And so
Hmm.
I worked with them one-on-one to
Hmm.
get them some tips on how to write their make their
Yeah.
writing stronger. They probably were like in the third grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one girl, before we got started,
Mm-hmm.
girl, Maurice, I
Yeah.
said, "Do you have any?" And maybe I had worked with these kids the week before doing the
Mm-hmm.
just scholar. So I'm back doing the essays.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I said, "Do you have any questions?" And she said, "Yeah. Can we sing the Just Call Me Scholar song?"
Mm-hmm.
And we started singing it.
Yeah.
And that touched my heart. Like, oh
Okay.
my gosh, she was still thinking about that song. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
another boy
Mm-hmm.
that I was working with, he, that day when it was his
Mm-hmm.
turn, and his question was he wanted to know how he can get a copy of the book. And, but
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, just call me scholar. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun with this book, and I want to, if I hurry up and write the script, my voiceover classmates are going to help me do an audio rendition of Just Call Me Scholar.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I know that's right. Keep going, girl. You keep going. I tell all any I tell anyone that I meet, when you God give you a vision, and then he
Mhm.
give you thoughts and concepts to work with that vision. Now you got the book. Now you're getting ready to use your friends, your colleagues, your co-work, the voice acting class, or the people that you are in collaboration with for the voiceover. You're going to use them as part of the audio book, and that's wonderful. And and like I say, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, Miss Terry, because what you do matters. What you do, it counts. Because when I was going to school, I say this. When I was going to school, I had just moved from New York to Virginia. And the teacher I had for the first year in Virginia, she was not a nice lady. She wasn't that nice. She wasn't nice like you. She wasn't that nice. No. And I think I was traumatized by that teacher. I think I
Mm.
was traumatized by that teacher because do you know how could I say this? If y'all out here teaching these children, if anybody on this air is watching teaching your children, teaching children, please take your time with kids. Please take your time with kids. They all children are different. Their thinking is different. Their uh 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 um comprehension is different. And you must take time with the children. And everything is not to be rushed. I know y'all get a curriculum every year or whatever, you get this curriculum and you get these set of things or time frames or stuff you have to teach the kids, but sometimes you may have to do like extra hour, where I want to teach, where you have one student, two students, three students, that are maybe not catching it as fast as the others. And you make time for the children. That's what the job really is. It is, I must say I have a pet peeve about parents that say, "Well, that's your job." Excuse me, but the parents' job is to make sure the children is learning at home before they even get to school. I hear a lot of parents say now these days, "Oh, well, that's what her job is, and she's supposed to do this." Okay, yes. But when it comes to other aspects of a child, like that, is they teachers are there to teach, not to become the absent parent. Have you ever ran into parents like that where they try to put all that responsibility on you as the teacher?
I've been blessed
Mm-hmm.
because have had the opportunity to work in Ohio, Virginia, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and now North Carolina. So four different states,
Mm-hmm.
um, at least one district. in each one of those states.
Mhm.
And I can tell you
Mhm.
that, you know how we had 10 fingers?
Yeah.
I don't really think I've had 5 parents
Mhm.
that were negative. You know you're gonna, and that's a lot. That's saying a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
I have been blessed that I haven't had too many crazy parents.
Okay.
Or when I say crazy, but
Yes.
just
Parents
being
that. Yeah.
right. But that's because I care about their kids and they know how
Mhm.
I've had experience where some parents will start out like they're coming to defend their child.
Mhm.
By the time we get to the end, they're like, I know she telling the truth because that's what you do at home.
Yeah. Right. Uh huh.
I
Yeah.
let the parent know that I'm trying to help
Yeah.
the child. I believe
Mhm.
that they can do this, but they're going to have to fall in line. I'm
Mhm.
giving like a
Yeah.
quick thing about it, but
Mhm.
I've been blessed. I haven't, considering how many districts or states I've worked in,
Mhm.
I can't even say that I've had
Yeah.
all five on one thing, one hand of
Mhm.
just horrible,
Yes.
parents,
Yes. Yes.
and like I said, I've had, workshops, giving parents tips or
Yeah.
in my classroom telling
Mhm.
parents things that they can do
Mhm.
with their kids.
Oh, you even go. You even do the. You even have like conversations with the parents of what how they can go into like helping their children learn if they don't understand as well. Oh,
Right. I give them
okay.
tips on that or tell them what we're
Mhm.
working on
Okay.
or what I think they should do.
Mhm.
And then sometimes it just takes a while
Yeah.
for some of the kids to get with the program.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, and then plus, some people may think I'm crazy, but I like teaching middle school. I
Okay.
do. And so,
Mhm.
that's a whole nother
Another
story.
level. That's a
Talk
whole nother level, child.
And plus, I've worked this was some years ago, I worked in a charter school for kids
Mhm.
16 to 21 that had dropped out of school. And
Mhm.
this was like their second or third chance to get their high school diploma. So
Yes.
I've worked purposely
Mhm.
when I first started out in my career working with kids that have learning differences and behavior differences because I
Mhm.
want them to know that yes, they can do this. So
Mhm.
my goal, whether I'm working with kids that have an IEP or
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
my goal is to build their confidence and skills. And I've been able to see some amazing results with my kids,
Yes.
having those expectations.
Mhm.
I don't care if these test scores say you read at a second grade level. Hey,
Mhm.
we in the seventh grade class, an eighth
Mhm.
grade class. That's
Mhm.
that's what we're going to be working with.
Yeah.
And I say all of this to say that we got to present our kids with certain things, and then they'll rise to that occasion. But if
Yes.
we just say, "Oh, poor little black child," and I will say that
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
students have been black, African American.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, Poor little black child, this is the best they could do. No, And my kids, they get tired of me, but then they get used to me
Yeah.
preaching
Because.
to them and
Mhm.
getting
Yeah.
them in order.
Mhm.
Earlier, I was talking about my song, and I need to go to the studio for Just Call Me Scholar.
Mhm.
I have a song that I wrote
Mhm.
or made up
Yeah.
before Just Call Me Scholar, way before I
Mhm.
was thinking about Just Call Me Scholar.
Okay.
You want me to tell you about it? We got enough time?
Go ahead, Miss Terry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Terry.
This song
Mhm.
came about because, I would be walking around the classroom. I will have given the kids an assignment. So
Mhm.
I'm walking around to make sure everybody is on task and doing
Mhm.
what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I used to say things like one of my favorite things to say to kids, y'all better get yourself together. Like if they doing something, y'all
Yeah.
better get yourself together.
Uh huh.
And then I'm walking around. and
Mm-hmm.
if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I
Mm-hmm.
started singing a hook. Listen to
Uh-oh.
me like I'm a singer like you, trying to use these terms. I guess it's called a
Well,
hook. Anyway,
yes, ma'am.
I would say,
Mm-hmm.
I would be walking around the classroom talking about children, you better get yourself together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go to the next group. They
Mm-hmm.
not doing what they supposed to do. I'm like, children, you better get yourself together.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
girl,
Mm-hmm.
one day, uh, one of my students, and it was the
Uh-huh.
sixth grade language arts class, my sixth
Yeah.
grade language arts class. She was like, Miss Richard, we can sing too. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my gosh, y'all think I could sing? If they're saying we could sing too, in my head,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, I must not be sounding bad.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, Miss Richard,
Mm-hmm.
just give us a few minutes. We gonna have something for you.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So I
Uh-huh.
started walking around checking work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Girl,
Uh-huh.
when they came back, I don't
Uh-huh.
know if it was like 10 minutes late, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But girl,
Uh-huh.
this is what they did.
Yeah.
They mixed my hook or whatever
Yeah.
you call it. Is that the
Uh-huh.
right term?
Yeah, yes. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you. From the expert. Okay. I'm using the term.
Yes, ma'am.
From that hook.
Uh-huh.
And then they were like, you know that song, This Is How We Do It.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes.
Now, these kids, this had to be like in 2016
Mm-hmm.
or 2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were in the sixth grade and they were like, okay, Miss Richard. And so what happened was
Mm-hmm.
one girl liked to rap.
Yeah. Oh,
It
okay.
was maybe, it was four of them, I think.
Um,
And it was maybe three girls that were singing
yeah.
and one girl that was rapping.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, you know, they always say, give me a beat, or they come up
Uh-huh.
with a beat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking I can come up with a beat. I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking I can come up with rhymes too. There's been times
Mm.
I'll say to the kids, give me a beat. But
Yeah.
anyway, this time the girl was like, give me a beat. And
Uh-huh.
so she came up with it. She was doing the beat,
Uh-huh.
and they were like, this is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be like, children, you better get yourself together. This is how we. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then, like a day or so later, I don't remember the time, I said, oh, I got
Mm-hmm.
to write some lyrics. So I wrote
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics for it.
Yeah.
And so they ended up performing that song. We did a community service project where we were inviting the grandparents to come into the school. And so
Okay.
they sung that, and then they
Uh-huh.
sung one of our like holiday Thanksgiving or Christmas program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I never really recorded it. I don't.
Girl, those the moments that you miss, and you be
I
like, I
know,
didn't
but
record it.
I'm like, I'm gonna get me some other kids to put it to that, and to just call me scholar and some
Uh-huh.
other stuff. I'm always making up songs
Yeah.
for
Okay. Well,
kids.
you need to produce them then.
I know, I know,
Produce them, and
yeah.
and I give you one word of advice. I'm gonna give you one word of advice. Um, only let the select few know how the song comes out, because you
Okay.
must copyright this song. You must
Hmm.
get it in the studio and done before anybody else has a chance to steal it.
Hmm.
We got the people that's always taking somebody's stuff, running off with it and talking about claiming it for their own. So
Hmm.
that's why artists are so you don't hear their music till they come out on air, their new stuff, because they have the engineer, the guy that got the person make the track, and then you got a person that write the song and the lyrics. Everybody be in that one room, and they're coordinating in the studio and things like that. So but take your time with it. Write your lyrics. Find you a good musician or artist, and Find your good artist that makes good music, and then you may want to, y'all sit down and work out your contract and stuff. And just take your time in development, because that's when all the
Mm,
magic happens. When all the magic happens. Um, and just put it together, and then you just copyright it with the copyright office in Washington D.C. You send in the track, you send in the album cover, whatever, whoever name gonna be on it, and things like that. And I it's called royalties. Return on investment. That's my favorite saying. ROI, return on investment. You put your work into something you created. It started with lyrics. Like our song that we have in the morning, it started with just that. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time for Brazilian black women. And now that has turned into a whole song. But I had to learn, from other people's, I'll say, previous experience with other people that dealt in the music business. I've learned that you take your time with the composure. Only a select few know. Get it copyrighted, and then let everybody listen to the final copy,
mm,
because can't nobody steal it from you, because it's already in your name. Okay, it's in your name. It's in your name. Can't nobody take your stuff and sell it, get no money from it, and you can sue people if they try to use it without licensing rights. That's another topic for another day. But I'm just giving you heads up. Yeah. So, Miss Terry,
thank you. I
I,
appreciate that coming
you
from
go.
you as a music expert, a songstress, a lyricist.
Well, yeah, I have been. I mean, I have been singing since I was 7. It all starts in church, and and I've learned a lot of things over the years. But over these last couple of years, I've learned to listen to what God is telling me about the gifts and talents He has given me, and to use them and to inspire, motivate, uplift, words of encouragement. How could I say this? And sometimes I'll just turn around and give people the advice. They say, well, you need to charge, you need to charge. Okay, well, some things, well, God lay on your heart not to charge somebody, you it's freely given. Because God has a way of blessing you down the road later on with something else you may need some help with. He'd be like, well, you obeyed me on this, so I'm gonna help you. I'm helping you every day. You know how God is. He helps us every day. First thing in the morning, we up.
Every day,
So
all day.
every day, all day, right? So that's how I feel about anyone I come across. If I can help you, and God asked me to be obedient. You know how we do in our group in the morning. We gonna tell you what God said. We gonna tell you what God told us to tell you. So and Miss Terry. So if you need any help with that, call me. You got my number. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Mhm.
So where can we find your book, Miss Terry? I know you have your website.
There, my books are available on Amazon,
Yes.
and they're probably also available on, not also, they're really available anywhere online where books are sold, like Barnes and Noble, all of
Mm,
that. But
okay.
the most popular people usually go to Amazon since
Hmm.
it's, easy access.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Okay. So where can the people reach you, Miss
They
Terry?
can reach me at Terry, Terry,
Hmm.
at yes,
Okay.
yes, with
Hmm. Hmm.
WITHPES dot
Hmm.
com.
Okay.
And
All right.
that's saying yes with PES. That stands for say yes
Mhm.
with personalized educational services. So
Okay.
that's my email address.
Oh,
And then
okay.
you can see me on
Hmm.
Instagram as Just Terry Ann,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
then on Facebook with my name on my personal account, or and my business Facebook page, Personalized Educational Services,
Okay.
and LinkedIn, Terry Ann
Mhm.
Williams Richard. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's right. I have put all the links on the page on the bottom of it's the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen for our viewers. So I want you to, really, come out, support Miss Terry because Miss Terry does a lot for for the children. I want to say
Mm.
the country way for the children, right? So, so, but Miss Terry, I thank you so much for becoming my guest today, for coming on the show and talking about you and what you do and how you uplift and encourage and motivate others through your business, through your business, through your books, through your voice coaching, your voice over. You do so many things, and I commend you on wearing all these hats. Okay.
Thank you, girl. You know about them because you got plenty of hats yourself.
Yeah, child. Ooh wee. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, which hat am I wearing today? Right? So I want to thank you, Miss Terry, for coming out, and
Yeah.
I want you to have a very blessed day. All right?
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Miss Terry. All right, we have Miss Terry for our interviewer of the day. Okay. And Miss Terry is doing her thing, and she has been a marvelous guest, and I love her. And I want to say thank you again, Miss Terry, for coming on Entrepreneurial Corners to tell us about all of the things that's going on in your business. And I want to say, if you need any help, you come and call me. Okay, don't hesitate. Because I believe in being a blessing, and blessing to others that are doing positive, uplifting things, especially when it comes to our kids. You know, um, we gotta keep our children in mind. And I want to say thank you everyone for coming in today for entrepreneurial corners. And I am your guest. I am the executive producer and host, Sharice Johnson Moore. And I want to say, I want to thank you. All right, now. See you next week on Sunday at 3 p.m. for Entrepreneurial Corners. Okay, babies, I love you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.